Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the Monster Clarity 101 Airlinks. These are TWS wireless earbuds that retail for $79, sometimes goes on sale for a little less on Amazon. Monster is a company that came to prominence in the late 2000s through a collaboration with Beats. They created the original Monster Beats by Dr. Dre, which were a very successful pair of headphones, and Beats continue to be almost a status symbol, a part of popular culture even here in 2019. But Monster was really back then the manufacturer that had much more expertise in audio and creating accessories, cables, things like that. So it's a little sad that Monster themselves haven't reached as much recognition in the years since, but they also worked with other artists such as Lady Gaga to create custom headphones throughout the years. As such, I think a competitor to the Clarity 101s would probably be the Crazy Baby Air Nanos, going after a younger, design-focused crowd that care more about kind of how the product looks rather than purely how it works in terms of the features and sound. Otherwise, they feature 6mm drivers, which are about average for wireless earbuds. They will last for 7 hours of playback on a single charge, and the battery life will give you up to 4 extra charges for a combined total of roughly 32 hours of life when on the road. That's not the longest battery life in the world, as we've seen larger battery cases stretch upwards of 80 hours, maybe even 100 hours, but it's also longer than the Apple AirPods, the Crazy Baby Air Nanos, and the Redmi AirDots. They have touch-based controls, and otherwise they also feature a pretty unique battery case design, which uses a swiveling form factor to hide the earbuds when it's not in use, and then you simply swivel it all the way around to close it up and open them back up again. Additional accessories include spare tips to get a more custom fit. We also have a micro USB charging cable, so yes, unfortunately it's not using the latest USB Type-C port, and there's also a quick user guide. Taking a closer look at the design of the battery case, as aforementioned, there's that swiveling form factor which rotates 360 degrees in either direction to close up the earbuds when not in use. It's also not the first time that we've seen a rotating or swiveling battery case. We checked out the Tiamat Force a few months back, which relied on the same principle. With that being said, the Monster's battery case feels a little bit more responsive in terms of the rotating action. Otherwise, the main body of the case is constructed out of aluminum, which is definitely good to see. It feels quite premium, and then the rotating part actually has a nice texture to it, which makes it easier to grip and actually swivel compared to the Tiamats, which were made out of the same texture as the body and was a bit more slick. Now there's plenty of logoing going on, just like many of the other design-based or slightly hype-based companies. We have the Monster logo here, once more on the door, once more on the rear. One feature I appreciate is they do have built-in wings, which you don't have to remove in order to pop them back onto the battery case for charging purposes. They can still stay there. This added wing is actually really secure and prevents the earbuds from falling out. In fact, they're some of the most snug-fitting earbuds I've tested. How you wear them is you put them into your ears and then you rotate them counterclockwise like a coin to further lock them into place, kind of similar to the new Microsoft wireless earbuds that were just released. The result is a wearing experience that even if I was jumping around, shaking my head vigorously, they still stayed snugly in place, which is definitely good, and also creates a tight noise isolating seal. Now, the earbuds themselves, their size is also fair. They're not too large, so they are still quite comfortable in terms of the weight and overall form factor. And as a comparison, here are the Apple AirPods. So you can see that it's actually respectable, about the same size, I'd say. Here are the Redmi AirDots, also about the same dimensions and weight. And lastly, here are the Crazy Baby Air Nanos, also really about the same. Now on the edge, you'll find access to the microphone, which you can use to answer phone calls, and on the Monster logo, which is made out of metal material, you also get a touch-sensitive key that you can tap on to play and pause your music and to skip tracks. What's really good is you can even adjust the volume directly on these earbuds. You simply need to double tap 2 times to raise it higher or lower by tapping on the left or the right sides, which are actually very intuitive. All the controls, by the way, are touch sensitive, so it's a capacitive sensor. It doesn't rely on a physical button that you have to press down onto, and it makes it very intuitive and easy to use. These earbuds are magnetic, and once they pop into the battery case, they will automatically turn off and start charging up. Moving to audio quality and performance, I have to admit that I was pleasantly surprised. Monster is a brand that is really known for making bass-heavy headphones, and especially if you think about Beats headphones, they have a tendency to really have a super sharp kind of V-shaped sound signature, but on the Clarity 101s on earbuds, it actually sounds really good. Bass is powerful, it's thumpy, it's roomy, but at the same time, it doesn't destroy the listening experience. It still feels precise. So especially if you enjoy listening to EDM type music, to bass boosted tracks, anything with drum beats, it really comes to life on these earbuds. By comparison, the bass is definitely a lot weaker on the Crazy Baby Air Nanos and on the Redmi AirDots, as well as the Apple AirPods. They're also really clean sounding in the sense that you can play and pause a track and the latency is very low, but there's also very little distortion in the background. In fact, you can turn the volume all the way down and you still won't hear any hiss or hum in the background, which is very common in wireless earbuds. So that's actually quite impressive. Now, mids and highs are good, but I would say they're just average compared to other wireless earbuds, but it will definitely impress just for casual music listening, pop music, watching movies, YouTube clips. It all suits those purposes really well. Again, using the latest Bluetooth 5.0 chip means that there is very little latency and lag, so you can watch videos, you can play and pause a track really quickly, and everything is still synced up between the left and right sides. I never really encountered any disconnections either when testing it with both iOS and Android. That's more or less it for our hands-on review of the Monster Clarity 101 Airlinks. Ultimately, I came away impressed with these, and it kind of feels like Monster is turning over a new leaf, just because they're not only about the style anymore, but it's also about the sound quality and the substance. The tuning of these headphones are still, again, very bass-rich, but at the same time, it's no longer as overpowering as perhaps past generations, especially their over-ear style headphones in the previous years have been. Now it's starting to become a bit more precise. It's by no means neutral sounding, but on general consumer grade headphones, they sound undeniably great. Volume is loud, they're thumpy, it's rich, well-balanced, dynamic, and ultimately super comfortable and fairly attractive as well as discreet. I actually prefer this more than some of the competitors like the Crazy Baby Air Nanos and maybe even the Creative Outliers that we just reviewed, just because it really is so dynamic sounding, in particular the bass, while still keeping good mids and highs for watching films, as well as pop and EDM type music. So you can check out more details if you're interested in the links down below, but again, definitely a pair of headphones that is delivering more than just looks now. These are the Monster Clarity 101 Airlinks TWS wireless earbuds with a swiveling battery case.